Dear students, welcome to Geography class. Today we will learn about soil resources in India. Soil is an important natural resource. It is the topmost layer of the earth's surface where we cultivate different types of crops. Soil, it is very important for a country like India because India is agrarian country. Major population of India, that means more than 60% of the population, depends on agriculture for their livelihood. So, the study about the soil, its formation and its classification is very important. Here, we will study about different types of soil, their formation and their classification.
Pedology is the scientific study of soil, which includes its formation, nature, and classification. Pedogenesis is the process of soil formation. Pedologists are the people, those who are studying about the soil formation, nature, and its classification.
Soil is formed through millions of years. It undergoes many processes to form at least 1 centimeter of the topsoil. As we learned last year, the most important process for the formation of soil is weathering. We have learned different types of weathering last year. Physical or mechanical weathering includes granular disintegration, block disintegration, exfoliation, and frost action. These processes are mainly related with the temperature differences. In areas which experience high range of diurnal difference in the temperature, there we can see granular disintegration, block disintegration, and exfoliation, especially in the desert and arid regions. But frost action it experiences in the temperate region, cold regions, and mountainous region. In these places, the temperature will be fluctuating above and below 0 degree Celsius. Next, the chemical weathering. There are different processes related to chemical weathering: oxidation, hydration, carbonation, and solution. All these are related with the rainfall or presence of moisture in the atmosphere. Wherever heavy rainfall occurs, those region experiences solution, means the minerals in the soil that is removing by the rainwater. The carbonation is also related with the rainfall, but it occurs in the limestone region when limestone is reacting with the carbonic acid which is present in the rainwater. Hydration and oxidation are related with the presence of moisture. This we can experience in the tropical regions where it is moist always. And biological weathering, it related with the plant growth, presence of animals, and human activities. Plants, their roots, the growth of the roots that helps in the breaking down of the rocks. Animals like earthworms, rodents also helps in the breakdown of rocks. Here, human activities, agricultural activities, deforestation, mining, construction, everything is helping in the weathering process. The most important processes are physical weathering and chemical weathering. These processes continuously acting over the earth for the disintegration or crumpling of the rock particles into small minute particles. After the weathering process, different agents of erosion transports these weathered material in the form of wind, rainwater, river water, glaciers from their original place and deposits these weathered particles in some far distant areas. So transportation and deposition also leads in the formation of soil.
Now, let us see which are the factors affecting the soil formation. The most important factor is climate. Climate means the temperature and precipitation. As we saw before, the temperature variation, the high diurnal range of temperature that leads to exfoliation and granular disintegration, and low temperature that leads to frost action. And in heavy rainfall region, it leads to solution process and leaching process. In monsoon rainfall region, that leads to oxidation and hydration. So the climate of a place that decides which type of weathering act on the rock to disintegrate it. Next, the nature of parent rock. The color of the rock is very important because it decides the absorption of the heat energy from the sun. The contraction and expansion of the rocks that is leading to the disintegration of the rock. The texture of the rock particles or the soil particles that is related to the parent rock because the coarse nature or fine nature or soft nature of the rock particles that is coming from the parent rock. Then structure of the rocks, the crystalline structure, granular structure of the soil particles also depends on the parent rock. The minerals, the presence of iron, aluminum, phosphorus, potassium, all these are related with the nature of the parent rock. Different rocks disintegrate with to produce different types of soil which is having different minerals. Next, the vegetation cover. Vegetation cover provides humus that increases the fertility of the soil. The roots of the trees, plants that protect the soil from the erosion. And the trees shelter the soil from the sun and other environmental factors. Next, the topography. Topography means the relief feature of an area. If it is a steep slope or a mountainous region, the process of erosion will be more because at the time of rainfall, the filtration of the water will be less. In a gentle slope, erosion will be less when we compare with the steep slope. Here also the filtration of the water will be less. On the other hand, in the flat land, here the soil which is eroded from the steep and gentle slopes region will be deposited there, and there we can find more filtration of the water. And the time that it decides the nature of the soil. How much time the soil undergoes disintegration, that much fine texture will be having that soil. So young soils have a more characteristics of parent rock, but when the soil becomes older, that means with the time, one soil type can be transformed into another type.
Now let us see which are the main constituents of the soil. A soil which is having a good quality, a proper mixture, they have these constituents like sand, silt, clay, minerals, humus, and moisture content. A proper mixture of these materials that increases the quality of the soil and fertility of the soil. The presence of silt means the eroded rock materials, fine grained soil particles that increases the fertility of the soil. The presence of clay that helps in the retention of water and the clay that retains water and supply water to the plants even in the dry time. Presence of sand is very important. It cannot retain moisture, but it allow enough percolation of the water. The presence of minerals like phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, that also increases the fertility of the soil. The humus, it is the most important constituent because it enriches the soil. Humus means it is the decayed vegetative and animal matter. Even the soil is not having enough nutrient content, if there is the presence of humus, it will help in the agricultural productivity. And soil must have enough amount of moisture. This moisture containing in the soil that will helps in the supply of minerals to the plant. If there is no enough moisture present in the soil, plants cannot absorb the minerals from the soil. So the presence of sand, silt, clay, humus and moisture, it is very important, and the soil must be enough aerated. Now let us see what is a soil profile. When we take the cross section of the soil, that means when we dig a big hole on the earth, or digging tube wells, or at the time of mining activity, then only we can see these different layers of the soil. So it is named as a soil profile, means it is having a number of layers like topsoil, subsoil, substratum and parent rock. Let us have a look at the soil profile. This diagram shows the soil profile. We can see the different layers: topsoil, subsoil, substratum and the parent rock. So here it is written humus. Humus, actually it is a part of the topsoil, but above the surface of the topsoil we can see the rotten leaves and dead animal matters. So these vegetative and decayed animal matter, when they become older, it considered as humus, and it is an important part for the fertility of the soil. So topsoil, it is having the presence of humus, then different types of minerals like nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. Then the topsoil will be having presence of enough air. Soil must be aerated. Then presence of water, means the moisture content. So that is the topsoil. Small plants always growing in the topsoil. Then next layer is subsoil, which is below the topsoil. Subsoil having enough amount of nutrients, and it is having the ability to hold air and water. So the subsoil, it is supplying nutrients to the large trees, and some plants which is going to the subsoil, they are getting the water from the subsoil. Next it is the substratum. Substratum means the weathered rock particles. The weathered rock particles undergoes different processes in the substratum layer to make the subsoil. And the lowest layer, that is the parent rock. From the parent rock only the topsoil is formed. So disintegration or decaying of parent rock, that decides the nature of the soil. So for example, red sandstone, its disintegration leads to the formation of red soil. That means it is having red color and more iron content. So most of the time, some residual soils or the sedimentary soil, they may, after the disintegration, they lie over the parent rock itself. But in some areas, for example, alluvial soil, they may be transported from the parent rock and deposited in some other low distant areas. So when we check the cross section of the soil in any part of the world, we can see these four layers. In the bottom it is parent rock. Disintegration of parent rock leads to the formation of the different layers of other soil, and finally the fine minute well-grained particles that leads to the formation of topsoil.